rumor mill starts spinning towards the end of the year. We got a couple of rumors floating around about NFL quarterbacks and potential landing spots. Let's start off with the Houston Texans. Now, Ian Rappaport has been busy this morning talking about actives and inactives for Week 18, and then talking about potential rumors of quarterbacks and will they stay, will they go, and when will they get rid of them. Deshaun Watson, Houston Texans, sat out all year. Rappaport is reporting that the Texans are looking to move on from Deshaun Watson potentially before the March free agency period starts. So I worked with my brain trust, mainly me. The top 3 landing spots for Deshaun Watson. And one of these that I had in my top 3 are actually going to get bumped down to honorable mention. I have 5 teams altogether. But with the latest rumors coming out, I'm going to drop one of these top 3 teams into my honorable mentions and pull up one of my teams into the top 3. Now, in no particular order, let's start with the Denver Broncos, who just fired Vic Fangio. This team has great weapons. Great weapons. They have 3 really good wide receivers, an elite athletic tight end who is yet to come to his full potential. You got Cortland Sutton, you got Jerry Jeudy on top of all the other wide receivers that you have there. You got 2 very capable running backs. You got a very solid offensive line. You got a very solid defense. They don't have a head coach, which means Deshaun Watson could come in, potentially help handpick the head coach they want with the offensive coordinator, and that's something that he was looking for in Houston, to have a little bit of say. Now, it doesn't mean that Deshaun Watson's going to come to Denver and go, all right, I want Eric Bieniemy as my head coach. Bam, it's got to be done. But he can say, all right, here's my list. I like Eric Bieniemy. I like Brian Dable and a couple other guys. Make something happen. That's why the Broncos, a quarterback away from being a contender, is on this list. You could put them number 1 on this list if you want. Like I said, I'm not going to rank them. Dolphins. And this is no shot at Tua Tagovailoa because I still see the growth, the learning curve that's been with him. You got to remember, his first year when he played, he was still recovering from a hip surgery, a hip injury that a lot of people would never play football again or walk with a limp or whatever the case may be. So he didn't get acclimated as much as he could have last year. This year, you started to see the growth. I do think there's talent there. I do think he has a potential to be a top 20 quarterback, maybe a top 15 quarterback, because his accuracy is as elite as anyone in the league. He has Drew Brees type of accuracy. But you look at Deshaun Watson, you look at this team, you got a great culture there, a great general manager, great head coach, a very solid built team that continues to get better. They went on a 7-game win streak or whatever it was in this season with Tua Tagovailoa in a makeshift offensive line. Watson can help overcome those offensive line inefficiencies and really open the playbook for this Dolphins team. So he's not a guy that's going to lose you games. He's a guy that's going to win you games. Tua's a guy that's going to keep you hung up in games, but your special teams and your defense is really where you lie with the Dolphins. But Watson can take this Dolphins team and really open up the playbook and take this team to the next level. Now, one of the teams that was going to be in my honorable mentions that I did bump up is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got a great culture, a great organization, a great head coach. Now, they just lost their offensive line coach. They just are about to lose their general manager. And they have some divas for some wide receivers. Their offensive line has been hit or miss. They played really great last week against the Cleveland Browns. But one of the things Watson was looking for was a great culture. a great organization, and it doesn't get much better than Pittsburgh Steelers. You think about Najee Harris, Deshaun Watson, and the wide receivers that they have, Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson. They have great weapons there. Now, a little bit of divas, but I think with a great leader there, like Deshaun Watson, and not saying Big Ben isn't a great leader, with a talented, great leader, young in his career, that can really mentor some people that are closer to his age, that he understands the TikTok of the world, the Instagram, the Facebook, the Periscope, the Twitter, the YouTube. He understands that. Maybe he can help mentor them. The offensive line, it can be fixed. They got a great defense, including Defensive Player of the Year potentially in TJ Watt. Great weapons and a great organization. That's why they're in my top 3 landing spots. Now, one of the teams I took out was the Cleveland Browns, because I do believe they are a true elite quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. A Super Bowl contender. But reports are, like I said, Rappaport's been busy today. Reports are the Browns are looking to stay with Baker Mayfield in 2022. That's the reports. That shouldn't exclude them from looking at Deshaun Watson. That's why they are still in my honorable mentions. But reports are that they are going to stay with Baker Mayfield in 2022. And then my sleeper pick, Washington Admirals, Commanders, football team, whatever they may be. We'll find out February 2nd when they announce their official Washington football name. They have a great head coach who's really helped turn around the culture in Washington. And they're a QB away from being a consistent playoff contender. Now, this year started off a little rough. You know, they switched between Ryan Fitzpatrick, who got injured, out for the year. Brought in Taylor Heineke to be the starter again, who's a good, decent player, but he's a better backup. If he comes in for a game or two, that you have an excellent backup on your hand. But you bring in a guy like Deshaun Watson to have a defense that they have that, you know, the first 5-6 weeks of the season didn't go great for the defense, but after that, they were holding teams under 300 yards total. It really picked up in the second part of the season. But you bring in a Deshaun Watson with a great head coach like Ron Rivera, who's really turning around the culture. That's why they are in my honorable mentions.